One-pot meals are the best. There's little to clean up and they're pretty easy to make. I'm Derek from Simnett Nutrition. Welcome back to my kitchen for another recipe video. Today I'm excited to share with you how to make some taco pasta, a shawarma bowl, and a hearty lentil and veggie soup. These recipes are not only delicious, but they're some of the meals that I've been eating to help me lose 10 pounds of excess weight over the last month and a half or so. And that's because these meals are high in protein, low in fat, they're super filling because they're full of fiber-rich and water-rich veggies. They also contain a good amount of complex carbohydrates to keep me energized and give me lots of energy so I can keep smashing my workouts and stay active throughout the day so I can hit my goals. Each of these recipes makes 2 servings each. So I will show you the calories and macros after each meal, but they all contain around 500 to 600 calories and 35 to 40 grams of protein. Oh yeah, and as usual, the recipes will be written in the description box down below because I like to make it nice and easy for you guys. All right, so let's get started with this taco pasta. This is my favorite one of the 3, so I wanted to show you guys this first. I'm gonna start by dicing a half an onion and throwing that into a large saute pan. And then next I'm gonna add a half a package of this Yves Mexican Veggie Ground round. The stuff's pretty good, but if you don't want to use something like this, you could always just use tofu and then like crumble it and add some taco seasoning or whatever, but the stuff's actually really good in here. So I'm gonna use a half a package of this. So I'm gonna saute this for about 5 minutes, and while that's cooking, I'm gonna get the rest of the ingredients ready and check out what I got, because you guys are always giving me a hard time for just doing like cups and that sort of stuff. I got a kitchen scale so I can actually weigh stuff out and tell you how much it is in grams. So let's weigh out 110 grams of this red lentil pasta. And for those of you that cook like a normal person and not like you're baking a cake or something like that, it's 1 1/3 cups. Strain and rinse 1 can of black beans, and then measure out a half a cup of frozen corn. Do I have to weigh this too, do you think? And then add all that to the pan with 3 cups of water and then 2 tablespoons of your favorite taco seasoning mix. And then give that a stir. Cover that, bring it up to a boil, and then once it's boiling, cook it for 10 minutes. And that's it. So I created this recipe with a little bit of extra liquid just so that there's some sauce, and it is so good like this. So I'm just gonna mix in some fresh cilantro, green onion, chopped tomato, and avocado, and then sprinkle a little bit on top as well, a splash of lime juice, and there it is. That is so good. It tastes like a taco, but it's pasta. This is like one of my favorite meals I've made in a long time. All right, so let's quickly look at the macros and the calories that we're getting from this meal. So this taco pasta is gonna give us 625 calories, 42 grams of protein, 99 grams of carbs, and 12 grams of fat. Before we make the next meal, I just wanna take a quick pause from the cooking and tell you about today's video sponsor, Gem Energy Aid Bites. So as you guys know, I pack a lot into my days, and sometimes I need a little energy boost to keep me pushing through it, and these bites are absolutely perfect for that. They are packed with real whole food ingredients that deliver a triple energy approach. A quick caffeine boost from green tea, as well as ginseng, sustained focus from L-theanine, and long-term metabolic support from kelp and prebiotics. What I love about the energy that I get from these is that it's jitter-free with no crashes, just clean, focused energy. And the best part is that they taste absolutely delicious, like dark chocolate with a nice cacao nib crunch, which makes them so easy to eat. So whether I'm out on an afternoon hike and need a little boost halfway through, or on a long bike ride, or I need a little pick-me-up at the gym to get me through that workout, Gem's Energy Aid Bites help to power me through whatever I get up to. If you are ready to fuel your day the right way, Gem is offering a special deal off your first month. So check out the link in the description box down below, or go to dailygem.com/Derek and use my code Derek at checkout. Thank you so much, Gem, for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. I love your products, and I'm sure that you will too, so definitely check them out. All right, now let's get back to cooking. All right, so next let's make this shawarma bowl. We're gonna be using Butler soy curls to sort of simulate the chicken part of this. And first we need to soak these. So what you wanna do is you wanna take your trusty kitchen scale and you wanna weigh out 125 grams. And that ends up being about 3 cups. Then you just want to rehydrate them with some hot water. And then after about 10 minutes, once they've absorbed about as much water as they're going to, you just want to squeeze out all the excess water that you can. Next, we've got to season those soy curls. So I'm going to be using this shawarma spice mix that I made myself. And I just put it together with like a whole bunch of different spices from the cupboard. There's like cumin, coriander, paprika, garlic powder, oregano, all sorts of different stuff in here. But you could always purchase one from the store that's pre-made if you'd rather do that. Add 2 tablespoons of the shawarma spice mix to the soy curls, and then really work it in there with your hands. You want the flavors to get right inside the soy curls. Add that to a preheated saucepan. And I do have a tiny bit of oil in the bottom of this pan because soy curls tend to stick a little bit. So we're gonna wanna cook these for about 10 minutes or so, and we wanna stir them often because we want them to start to brown up, and that's really gonna bring out the flavors in that shawarma seasoning. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and strain and rinse a can or a cup and a half of chickpeas. So once the soy curls start to get a little bit of color to them and brown up a little bit, then add the chickpeas and another tablespoon of the shawarma seasoning. Give that a good mix, and then just saute that for a few more minutes. So this recipe really needs a sauce, and I don't know if this is allowed in like official one-pot cooking, but I'm gonna make one anyway. So if you wanted to get something store-bought to make it really easy, you can do that, but this is so simple, and it kind of has the flavors of tzatziki, which obviously goes really well in a shawarma bowl, but it's so much easier to make. 1/4 cup of cashews, and if you don't have a high-speed blender like this Vitamix, you might want to soak the cashews for a little while first. 1/2 cup of water, the juice from half a lemon, and then just give that a good blend. Pour that into a container, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And then stir in 1 tablespoon of dried dill. So the sauce is pretty thin right now, but if you pop it in the fridge for 10 minutes or so while we prepare the rest of this, it should thicken up nicely. And now I'm just gonna chop up some fresh ingredients. So I've got black olives, 1/4 of a red onion, about 1/2 of a cucumber, and a couple of tomatoes. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and mix that in with the soy curls and the chickpeas. So I think it'd probably be a bit more traditional, not like I'm making traditional dishes here, but a bit more traditional with some romaine lettuce, but all I have is arugula, and I wanted to have this with some greens. So I think it'll be fine, but I know it's gonna taste good. A little extra fresh lemon. Wow, that is so good. There's so many flavors going on, and that really simple like cashew dill lemon sauce that I put on top, it doesn't seem like much, but it really adds a lot to this. And of course you could make it thicker if you want by adding more cashews, but I'm trying to keep the fat like a little bit low since these are meals to kind of help with weight loss, and I'm trying to watch my fat a little bit as well. There's no shortage of flavor though, that's for sure. All right, so let's check out the calories and macros that we're getting from a serving of this. This shawarma bowl has 556 calories, 35 grams of protein, 58 grams of carbs, and 22 grams of fat. All right, so to make this delicious and hearty vegetable lentil soup, I'm gonna start by chopping 2 carrots and half an onion, and then adding that to a preheated pot. And then I'm gonna saute those for about 5 to 7 minutes. Next, chop 2 sticks of celery and a bunch of fresh garlic. Throw that into the pot along with 3 tablespoons of poultry seasoning. Then give this a good stir and saute it for another 5 to 7 minutes. So it's right about now where if there's anybody else in your house, they're probably gonna be coming into the kitchen being like, what is that smell? All those spices and the garlic and the onions and the celery and everything just smells so good cooking together. So next I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes, then 1/2 cup of French lentils. You could use green lentils if you want. 1/2 cup of quinoa, 3/4 cup of TVP, or textured vegetable protein, and then 1 liter of veggie broth. So give all that a mix, and then you wanna bring that up to a boil and cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes. Just as that's finishing cooking, throw in 1/2 cup of frozen green peas, and then mix that in. And then finish that with some sliced green onion. Oh wow, that burned me. Woo! Ah.
Why is it so hot?
Because it was just boiling. That's why. Okay, so it's hot, but it is so flavorful, and it's just like so filling and so warming. I absolutely love this. And the next day, it is even better. When I was testing this recipe, I actually made it with wild rice, and it was good like that, but it takes like 45 minutes to cook wild or like mixed wild rice or whatever. So that's why I decided to add the quinoa instead, and cooked in like 20-25 minutes, and it is amazing. The fire roasted tomatoes add a really nice flavor. You could add regular crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes, but fire roasted, if you're not cooking with them, you've got to try them. They are incredible. So let's look and see what kind of calories and macros we're getting from this. This lentil and veggie soup is going to give us 656 calories, 42 grams of protein, 113 grams of carbs, and 9 grams of fat. All right, so I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below which one of these recipes you think you want to try first, or which one you would like the most. So if you enjoyed the video, definitely hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Subscribe so that you can see more, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye-bye. All right, I think I need some ice or something in my mouth. If you want to make your healthy meals taste even better, check out my latest recipe ebook, Easy Vegan Dressings and Sauces. There's 35 amazing oil-free recipes in there that are sure to transform any meal. There's a link in the description box down below.